Welcome in to your weekly GA show, Lauren the Páirce here on WLR, with thanks to Hooper Dolan Insurance's The Mall, Waterford. Tomás McCarthy here till 7 o'clock. Well, Ballinacourty and Rathgormack will do battle for the Conway Cup in a novel senior football final on Sunday. Former Waterford boss John Kiely will talk about the great players past and present from both clubs. We'll hear the views of Courty captain Stephen Enright and Rathgormack manager Ger Power, and there's also 3 pairs of passes up for grabs. And the last brick in the wall, Michael Duggan and Dan Shanahan will reflect on the career of data giant Michael Welsh. Well, Ballinacourty and Rathgormack will face off for the first time in a county senior football final at 3:30 on Sunday in Fairfield, and it will be our George Corbett scored a big match here on WLR. Well, to remember some of the great teams and great players these clubs have produced from years gone by, I'm delighted to be joined in the line by former Waterford boss John Jackson Kiely. And John, Rathgormack coming into this one, they haven't lifted the Conway Cup since 1999. They won 3 championships during the 90s. What made them such a dominant force during that period?
They had a lot of physicality. Well, they had a lot of good footballers, obviously, as well. And they had a lot of physicality. Actually, two of their better players, the 2 wing-backs, Dan Crotty and Denny Hazard, you wouldn't be calling big men, but by God, they were mighty hardy men, and they were great lads to carry the ball forward. 2 of the most consistent players in the county over that period of time, you know. Plus the fact that they had Martin Power. Martin Power would have to rate as one of their all-time great players, you know. Plus the fact they had the Murrays as well. Joe Murray would rate as one of the best players in the county at that time. A very, very skillful player. He'd be an uncle of Conor Murray, just on the present team, and Jason Gleeson. He'd be those lads' uncle, you know. So they had a lot of skill, but they had a lot of physicality as well, you know. And that's what they were able to stand up to the rigours of the game outside of the county as well. Like when they played the reigning All-Ireland champions, the Lawn Rangers from Kerry, it was a draw, and they went to Fitzgerald Stadium for the replay, and only lost out by a couple of points in the replay. So that'll just give you the standard that they were at. And in 99 then, in their last year, they won 3 titles, and in 99 then they went to Páirce Ring to play the Cork champions, UCC, a team that had 13 Kerry men on board. And I remember that was a tremendous game as well, and that ended in a draw. And UCC, of course, had won the Cork championship. But UCC beat them, I think, only by the point in the replay in Fairfield. And they also beat Mile Rovers in the Munster Championships in those years. And the Munster Mile Rovers team that had Declan Brown and Derry Foley, 2 of Tipperary's greatest ever players. That's the standard they were. And I remember in the county finals in particular, in 95 against Kilvassentee, they just blew us away, beat us by 15 points to 2-3 in that final. And the following year then, they played Gaeltier down in Welsh Park. And again, Gaeltier had a nice team that time. Fry Fitzgerald would be one of Waterford's greatest ever footballers, was in that team. They beat Gaeltier in that final, and that was a tremendous final. But I do remember Gaeltier missed a few chances in that one as well. But that was a good standard of a final. And in 99, when they won in 99, of course, they beat Stradbally. And that was Martin Power's fire. Martin Power scoring a tremendous goal into the road goal after a solo run. He stuck it in the roof of the net. That was the deciding score. I think it was 199 points, you know. That Rathgormack team was an outstanding team, yeah. Yeah,
like they acquitted themselves really well, both inside and outside the county, John. And like going further back to when Ballinacourty won their first championship in 78, John, and then they followed up in 79 and 81 as well. Who were the standout players on that team?
Well, that team now in 78 and 9, they were, a cousin of mine was the captain, Joe Power from Cushcam. He was the captain of that side. Well, Pat Enright would be one of the best ever footballers in the county. I know he's, and rightly so, one of the Abbey Side's greatest ever hurler and one of the best hurlers ever in the county. But he was a tremendous footballer as well. And they had a guy from Cavan there, John O'Dwyer. He was outstanding as well, you know. And that was a good Ballinacourty side. Like they won, as you said, they won back-to-backs in 78 and 79. Beat Ferrybank in one and Clashmore in the other. And then in 81 they beat a good Ardmore side in the final in 81. But it didn't seem to cut it at Munster level, you know. So for that reason, I suppose. But still, on the local front, they were a good team. And it takes a good team to win 2 championships. And they were well. They had the legendary Tony Mansfield in charge that time, you know. So they were definitely a good side, you know.
Yeah, and how did that team compare to the side that made another breakthrough again 26 years later, John, in 07 and went on to win?
I would put the team that came, the 7 to 13 team. I would put that team ahead of them,
right?
Because of their exploits in the Munster Championship. You know, like they beat Kilcummin of Kerry in the 0-7 Munster semi-final and got to the Munster final and got up a tremendous performance up in Killarney against Nemo Rangers. You know, the legendary Nemo Rangers from Cork. They only got beat a few points. Of course, you'd have Gary Hurney. You could rightly say probably Waterford's greatest ever player, due to the fact that in all these games playing for the county, in all these games he was selected for Munster, and I was involved with a few of those Munster teams myself as a selector, where we played Ulster, and he would have starred against the Tyrone fullback, the Derry fullback, you know. They had problems with him. I remember we played Connacht, the Galway and Mayo fullbacks. This guy was a superb footballer because of his size, and he had incredible skill the way he was into, when he was soloing with the ball, you because of his size, normally a tall man, a good tight defender would have, way to put the ball onto the foot and knock it away, but not with Gary. He was like Tiga Wise at LSL or Diga Wise at St. Saviour's. He just had that incredible ability to keep the ball so close as he soloed. And for a big guy, he was fast, and he could score brilliant points. I know he could have got wides as well, but he was an absolutely tremendous player.
Yeah, one of the all-time greats. And like looking at the current teams, John, what players are you looking forward to seeing on Sunday now in Fairfield?
Well, I'd be hoping that it'd be a fine day. At the start of the year, I think I was talking to you at the start of the year, I fancied Rathgormack as being, to crash through the
big three.
The top three, to break into the big three. I could see that Stradley were probably going to be in trouble, apart from maybe 6 or 7 players there. Were going to have 6 or 7 players, and it turned out to be true that, they had a few lads there that weren't, ready for that. Ready for senior yet, and same as ourselves in Kilwassenty, much the same. Rathgormack looks to be a well-balanced young team. They've won 2 or 3 under-21 titles. A lot of those guys have been on minor. I remember being involved in a Waterford minor team there in 12 and 13, and there was about 6 of those present Rathgormack team on that. Lads like Conor Murray and Conor Welsh, the two Currys, Jason Gleeson, and they're all, and Robbie Flynn. They're all good players, and since then there are all these young lads then again like Tom Welsh and the 2 Powers. They're all tremendous footballers, and there's an old saying there that you have to lose one before you win one. That doesn't always apply, but if the Rathgormack lads are not, we'll say, no, I don't mean to be intimidated by Ballinacourty, but intimidated by the day. And if they want to, if they have the fear of losing, a lot of teams have the fear of winning, but the fear of losing is the big one. And if you have that, that's a very hard team to beat. And they played really well against Stradbally. But like I said, Stradbally weren't up to the mark of other years,
Yeah, and for Rathgormack, John, do you think in Conor Murray they have one of the top forwards in the county right now?
Oh, they have, and I think that point that he scored in the second half there into the road goal where he took it off the side of the boot, it's from about 35 yards out, 40 yards out, and he bent it in around the post. That was worth the entry fee alone, Like I said, Rathgormack coming to the county final, they have a good management team. Jeff North he was on that team in the 90s, and by the way, he was one of their better players as well. I remember Jeff back in his heyday having some outstanding games for the county as a wing back. His coach, Michael O'Loughlin from Tipperary. Michael was involved in Kilwassenty as well for a few years, and he was involved with Tipperary and with Waterford. In fact, John Powell and myself were involved with Waterford there for a few years. So I know how good these guys are at first hand, and I can see their enthusiasm and their professionalism is rubbing off on the young players from Rathgormack,
And what players have caught your eye from Ballinacourty so far, John?
Well, I'll tell you what I did. You know what I really liked about Ballinacourty, the semi-final win over the Noyer. I thought that the Noyer, I'm not talking about being dirty or anything, but I thought the Noyer were hitting fairly hard, and Ballinacourty up to the mark, very good, and without retaliating, says the fella, and they played the game in the proper manner. I was impressed with that. I was also impressed with the guy David Luby. His free taking off the ground, I thought was very good. Haven't seen anything like that for years. And it was a joy to behold the way he was kicking that ball over the bar. Murray, when he came on, I thought it was very good as well, but he's a class act. And got a couple of good scores there. And of course, somebody asked me who was the danger for Ballinacourty, but I said I don't think the danger for Ballinacourty was playing against the Neuer, because he's back now. Well, if that's the fate, that they will be starting him. Patrick Hunley, Pudge. So he's on his day. He's one of the best forwards in the county. Like, he's a big guy, well over 6 foot, well able to carry a ball, and well able to score. He's had a great pair of hands. So he'd be a nightmare for any halfback to be marking if he sent the half forward side,
And just finally, John, I wanted to ask you about Michael Brick-Welch. You've been following his career very closely in both codes. Was he as gifted a footballer as he was a hurler?
I suppose he's known all over the country as a hurler, but in my opinion, for whatever that's worth, I think he was by far a better footballer. And I think in the Stradley Rathgormack game, he showed it. Like, everything that he done, there was a bit of class to it. He laid off the ball. Right, some of the players that he gave it after mightn't have been on the same wavelength, we'll put it that way. But everything he done was good. He's fielding of the ball. He's going right to the finish, because the guy's a warrior, And over the last 20 years playing for, he's on that senior team since he was about 16. And to be honest, I don't think I ever saw him play a bad game for Stradley in football. And it's just been unfortunate that after the 2003 under-21 team that he didn't play. He played in the Senior Championship that year, all right, against Roscommon, and was outstanding in such Shane Welch in the qualifier against Roscommon. And after that, then he dedicated his life to the hurling. But an outstanding footballer. Had everything. A pair of hands, a good head, great engine. What more do you want? Like, what can you say about the guy? And he's been an absolutely outstanding servant.
John, thanks a million for your time this evening, and enjoy the county final on Sunday.
I certainly will, and I wish the two before we go there, I just want to. I know I speak for every GA person in the county. And pass on my commiserations to the Cliff family, especially Larry and Margaret. Margaret, of course, the mother of Laura that died last weekend. Young Laura was only 37 years old. A lovely young lady. The whole GA fraternity in the county is broken for the family. And we'd like to pass. Of course, Laura's two brothers, Damien and Raymond, would have given outstanding service to Ballinacourty. And of course, Larry and Margaret run the bingo every week for the Ballinacourty club. So you could say winning a county final means an awful lot, but compared to their loss, it's terrible. And I know I speak on behalf again of everyone in the county. That's the one thing about the GA. The GA is a big family, and we're all heartbroken for the Cliffs. And I know that, that all their friends and the people in the GA are there for them.
We love Waterford. We are WLR.
Well, it's competition time now on Lorna Páirce. 3 pairs of passes to Ballinacourty versus Rathgormack in Fairfield. This is a text-only competition, and the question is, what is the name of the Senior Football Cup that will be presented on Sunday? Text your answer and name to 083 3333 975. Lines close at midday on Saturday, and the 3 winners will be announced on The Ball with Gavin Whelan. So 3 pairs of passes to Sunday's county football final. This is a text-only competition. What is the name of the Senior Football Cup that will be presented on Sunday? 083 3333 975.